Coming up on this edition of ATV News.
We need some drastic action.
We'll tell you why you can't get surgery unless it's an emergency.
We'll show you what students have to say about the USU vaccine mandate.
And it's really just magical.
The pandemic stifled the sound of music. We'll tell you where you can hear it now.
Are you enjoying laying out in the sun? I'll tell you how long you can in weather.
I've got the plays behind the comeback in football, and if the price of auto racing scared you out of it, I've got good news.
All that and more, this is ATV News.
Football game, and it may have woken you up throughout the week. We will have more on that and weather. Welcome to this edition of ATV News. I'm Dalton Renshaw.
And I'm Annika Johns.
The Utah State football team opened its season Friday night, but lightning almost shut it down before it got going. Rain, rain, go away is what Utah State fans were singing Friday night as a thunderstorm rolled over just before kickoff. Mother Nature pushed back the 7 p.m. start time by an hour and a half. Lightning in the area forced fans to evacuate the stadium 5 minutes before the scheduled start, but the student section stuck around.
It was kind of crazy because everyone was like throwing wet shirts everywhere and everything, and I was like, it was kind of chaotic, but it was really fun. They did a really good job of playing like rain-related music, I guess I would say. Like Umbrella, Rihanna, fantastic song for that time.
Maverick Stadium looks similar to this Friday night, at about an hour before the 7 o'clock kickoff time. But lightning and subsequent power outages caused the kickoff to be delayed until 8:30, with some players even thinking that the power outages might have been part of the pregame routine.
With the lights, this is my first home game at Utah State, so I thought maybe they're doing something special.
When the game finally kicked off, Utah State trailed 21-7 at the end of the first quarter. But the Aggies fought back to win 48-24, spurred on by the student section, head coach Blake Anderson says.
I don't know if they're listening or not, but I want to say thank you to the best student section on the planet for staying through however long the lightning delay was and staying loud and bringing energy. That was huge. Obviously, a bunch of people came back and appreciate the fans as well, but student section deserves a huge, huge amount of credit.
The power outage had more of an effect than delaying the game, though. Some fans and players said the stadium going dark turned out to be an exciting pregame intro. The power went out at about 7:45 and didn't start to come back for at least 20 minutes. While the lights were heating up, fans spent the time singing and cheering on the players. Some players and fans said they wouldn't mind this becoming a new pregame tradition.
The COVID-19 Delta surge is causing hospitals across Utah to make some changes. Today, Logan Regional Hospital is closing its doors to all non-urgent procedures. Intermountain CEO announced the change, saying 13 of their hospitals are overwhelmed with COVID-19 patients.
We believe we're going to need about 40 more ICU beds and about 70 more general medical beds in the very near future. And guess what? We just don't have them. We are facing a dire situation.
Harrison says hospitals are caring for 350 COVID patients in total. He says this new plan will be in place for a few weeks.
USU is holding a vaccine clinic today for students and staff. Leah Kershoni joins us from the Eccles Conference Center.
Thanks, Dalton. I'm here live at the Eccles Conference Center where the COVID vaccine just wrapped. They're currently setting up for another event right now, but next semester, students will be required to get a COVID vaccine. Now, vaccine clinics like this one will be set up around campus, and USU officials says that you don't need a appointment. Excuse me. You can just walk through this door over here, check in at this table, and there will be similar tables like this where there's chairs set up and CNAs where they give you a little poke with the vaccine, and all you have to do is just answer a few questions and you're good to go. Then you'll walk through the door in the back, wait about 15 minutes to make sure that nothing's wrong with you after you get the vaccine. Now, we talked to some students earlier about the mandate.
It isn't even that bad. I took it when I was sick, and I got through it like a champ.
People should have the choice to get them and not necessarily be forced to get them if they're not like really wanting to.
To get rid of the virus and the pandemic. So if everyone just wants to buck up and do it.
Starting October 20th, students will be able to declare whether they are vaccinating or taking one of the exemptions. Reporting live at the Eccles Conference Center, Leah Krishoni, ATV News. Back to you, Dalton.
Thanks, Leah.
Logan High School went into lockdown after a man threatened 2 teenagers with a gun. Witnesses say it happened in this parking lot where a 17-year-old girl and a 19-year-old woman brought a bike the man said they had stolen from his property. A witness says the man drove into the parking lot, drew his gun on them, and then took back the bike.
The family of the man killed Thursday in a farm accident have created a donation fund. Morel Munson was repairing a swather with a friend when the Cache County Sheriff's Office said his friend's 3-year-old son, who was sitting in the cabin, accidentally released the brake, crushing Munson. He was pronounced dead when emergency crews arrived. Donations can be made to the family at any Wells Fargo banks to the Morel Munson Memorial Fund.
It's not a Democrat thing, it's not a Republican thing, it's a weather thing.
President Biden flew into Boise to talk about the wildfires and fires and droughts happening across the West, as reported by USU grad Aona Likens. The president said he has asked for $14 billion over 10 years for disaster needs, but we need to be doing more to fight climate change.
And coming up,
in the end, we just decided to pull the plug on it.
rain and rescheduling didn't stop this party for USU students.
It's just a great way to get out.
We'll tell you why these people spent their weekend picking up trash.
Coming up in weather, Yvonne Bast will have the 7-day forecast. The current temperature is 82 degrees.
Okay.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Aggie Air is an innovative engineering program exclusive to Utah State. It provides opportunities for students to get hands-on and real-world experiences. By building model planes that photograph and scan detailed images of landscapes, Aggie Air can change the way we use the Earth's surface. Watch as Aggie Air takes flight.
You sure you don't want some? It's chamomile. Listen, you are extremely terrifying. Just the scariest undead subhuman thing on TV, and I really mean that. But I am worried that you could give my kids nightmares if they see you, so I'm gonna have to block you. So that's it. Oh, and tell the zombies they're blocked too.
This is the lightning you may have seen and heard throughout the valley this week. Now, that is the weather in Cache Valley. Let's take a look at the weather throughout the nation. In the East Coast, on the East Coast, you can see that there's heavy weather going to be happening, and Nicholas is moving from the coast further east, causing major flooding in this area. Texans are still experiencing power outage, and they hope to get that back up soon. Let's take a closer look at Utah. It is beautiful weather today, unlike the East Coast. And if you just look out your window too, you can see how nice of a day it is. It is about 80 degrees today, and we are going to be riding that throughout the week. If you can see further this week, we will be taking the 80s till about Sunday, when it will be partly cloudy. Monday, we'll experience some rain, and Tuesday it will be partly cloudy yet again. Now you're caught back up on weather. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Yvonne. That same lightning and rain actually caused students to reschedule a party for the game after the USU football game. They tried to keep it on game day, but as it got later and the rain wasn't stopping, they decided to wait another day.
It got pushed back to about midnight, and nobody's trying to do a dance party after midnight. So decided to reschedule. We figured we'd come back, we'd make it happen, and that's today.
After the party got pushed back, the student committee didn't give up. The party went on, bringing the winning school back to celebrate.
We've been on a long intermission from the beginning of the pandemic to now. Fa'ititi Tulata gives you front row seats to see how the cast is getting ready for their curtain call.
Sound checks start off the evening at the Ellen Eccles Theater, a familiar but long-lost sound for these community actors.
Theater is all about being in the same space with people, being really close and connecting, and so when COVID hit and the restrictions, it just completely wiped out everything that we could do and changed how we operate.
Directors and crew members fine-tune details like marking locations with tape and propping placements while the actors run through the performance.
Sense of community and just bringing people together to enjoy something as variable as music.
The seats might look empty now, but they're about to fill up real quick. This is the largest scale production the Music Theater West has been able to put on in 18 months.
Opening night jitters are always terrible, but it's just a part of doing theater. It gets your adrenaline going and you have the desire to put on the best show possible. The Von Trapp kids are so cute and the show is such a high energy show.
There's something really, really magical that happens on stage between actors telling a story, and then to get a live audience in the space too and take them on that journey, because everyone in the space is feeling the same thing at the same time, and it's really just magical.
At the end of the night, everyone gathers around for final critiques and go home tired but excited for curtain call. Fa'ititi Tulata, ATV News.
Curtain goes up this Friday. You can buy your tickets online at the link on our Facebook page.
Volunteers are cleaning up clean hiking trails today thanks to Logan Trash Cleanup. ATV News reporter Emma Fates tells us why they aren't only the ones picking up the trash this week.
Take a walk up Green Canyon and you'll find trash. And it's everywhere.
We don't like seeing trash where we go.
It's a problem people are trying to solve in simple ways.
I know for me, if I'm along a trail, I'll try and pick up trash as I see it.
But this week, Utah State University Extension is taking it a step further.
So this is Pack It Out Utah.
It's a statewide cleanup, and volunteers kicked off the week in Cache Valley. Groups picked up supplies and got to work.
I really think it's important to be good stewards of our watersheds. I go to Blacksmith Fork River area to go on hikes and enjoy the outdoors probably once a week.
Trash like this on our trails doesn't just look bad. It's also bad for our environment, affecting wildlife and our water quality.
Basically anywhere you pick up trash, it'll have a positive effect on our waterways. Even if you're in a park or on a street by your house, when it rains like this, all of that trash, everything will flow into storm drains, and then eventually where we live, it'll go out to the Great Salt Lake.
Organizers say all our ongoing efforts matter.
I'm really looking forward to continuing to do this every year.
Emma Fates, ATV News.
You can record how much trash you clean up on the Pack It Out Utah website until September 19th.
Other places enjoy fruit by making it into different desserts. In Brigham City, they have a very different way to celebrate it. Car shows A carnival, live music, all together at once, and it's all for Peach Day. It's also one of the biggest car shows in the western United States.
It's the largest free car show in the western United States, so it's free to attend. It's also free to put a car in. So there is no charge to come to our car show.
The first peach harvest began back in Brigham City in 1904. Officials say they started the tradition to celebrate what they say are the best peaches in Utah. For this year's celebration, the rain cleared as the parade was starting, making for beautiful conditions throughout the rest of the day. So, what do you think? Peach days or raspberry days?
I think peach days. I mean, that car show looked pretty fun. I'm going to definitely have to check that out next year.
Oh yeah, me too, me too.
And coming up.
It's loud, it's dirty, it's muddy.
The cars were loud and the mud was dirty. Trash car racing was in Logan over the weekend, and we'll show you how many cars got stalled. Aggies won their second game of the season. We'll show you how the season compares to past seasons in sports.
You might be the only person that they see that whole day.
We'll tell you the impact Meals on Wheels has on Cache County.
Body language. Without saying a word, it can tell you so much. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time. Time to call 911 immediately. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment, and that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Learn the body language, the sudden signs, and spot a stroke fast.
Can you consent with me? Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. 'Cause every kid across the nation deserves a book to read, and we can make it happen right now. No, I don't know what you've been told, but kids with books learn so much more. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite, unearth hidden passion. Come on, we'll have a good time. Living seeds of inspiration to motivate some magic. To change the writing on the wall, writing on the wall. One book can make a difference. One book can inspire a child. One book can be the first thing that helps to change a life. People unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Maverick Stadium was packed with fans. Welcome to TV Sports. The Aggies took on the Fighting Hawks of North Dakota on Friday for their first home game of the season. Scoring touchdowns right off the bat, the Hawks came out swinging, ending the first quarter with a 21-7 lead. Now things slowly started turning around for the Aggies, overcoming an active North Dakota defense, other Aggie miscues, and incomplete passes. Utah State pulled within one at the half, trailing 21-20. But in the second half, that's when things really got rolling, and the Aggies had a breakthrough.
Number 13 senior wide receiver Devin Tompkins sprinting into the end zone at the end of the third quarter to put the Aggies up 27-24. Now the touchdowns, they kept coming with this catch from number 8 senior wide receiver Derek Wright, and later on number 4 junior running back Calvin Tyler. He bursts into the end zone, lands on his feet. And USU fans were still loud by the end of the night, hours later, cheering for the Aggies, who outscored North Dakota 28-3 in the second half, giving them a convincing 48-24 victory with the win. The Aggies are 2-0 to start the season for the first time since 2012. And it was a busy week for college football, but also for high school football here in Cache Valley as well. Rivals Ridgeline Riverhawks and Green Canyon Wolves battled it out in Millville on Thursday for the region opener. The Riverhawks made it a one-sided affair early on in the night with this touchdown from number 1 wide receiver Jackson Olsen to start out the game. Ridgeline quarterback number 4 Caden Cox also had a strong night, passing for 276 yards and 4 scores. The Wolves tried to fight back, but by the end of the night, their offense just couldn't push through. The Riverhawks won the game with a final score of 35-28. The next day, students filled the stadium at Mountain Crest High School, where the 1-4 Mountain Crest Mustangs took on the 4-1 Logan Grizzlies. Mountain Crest started off strong with the first touchdown of the game by number 19 Cooper Gardner right here, and putting up a tough defense, but Logan eventually got things figured out. Number 2, Matthew Mason rushed for not one. Into the end zone he goes, but for 2 touchdowns in the first half, putting the Grizzlies on the board. And plays like this one from number 6, Jalen Hoff, in the second half is what sealed the victory. The Grizzlies ended the night with a 26-7 win. USU women's volleyball scored big this weekend. They swept San Francisco 3-0 on Friday and defeated St. Mary's on Saturday 3-1. And big things happening over on the soccer field in women's soccer.
What's up, guys?
After beating out UC Riverside 2-1 on Friday, making it their 7th consecutive win of the season, the Aggies are riding the longest winning streak in the Mountain West. Riverside scored the opening goal in the 3rd minute of the match, but the Aggies fought back in the second half. This shot from number 10 senior midfielder Ashley Cardozo with the follow-up from junior forward Nicole Hadlock, and this goal from senior forward Sammy Murdoch pushed the Aggies over the edge to keep their winning streak alive. Those 2 in-state schools to the south of us, whose names will not be mentioned, played in the latest edition of their long-standing rivalry on Saturday night. The blue team, also known as the Cougars, defeated the red team, also known as the Utes, 26-17, ending a 9-game losing streak in the rivalry. Now, these sports, they all might come across as something that requires years of practice and training, but over the weekend, Cache County Fairgrounds hosted a sport that only requires a pair of wheels and a helmet.
Go, 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 go.
From the countdown at the start of the race, the roar of engines were loud on Saturday for Logan's Trash Car Racing. Drivers take a scrap car, design it however they want, and try to make it last for as long as possible. They're required to race their cars through the dirt, around the track, to see who can cross the finish line first, and who might get stuck along the way. While some cars may stall, others find their wheels worked out and put on a show.
It's loud, it's dirty, it's muddy, cars crashing, cars just racing. It's probably the most redneck fun you'll ever witness.
Workers and racers say it doesn't matter if you're from the city or the country, the loud sounds and the mud can be a sport for everyone. You're all caught up on your sports update for the week. Now back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Sarah. Food is a necessity, but for some, they're unable to make it themselves. Leah Krishoni shows us how Meals on Wheels helps Cache County residents in need.
Hello. Hi. How are you? From greeting people as they walk in the door to checking on them during deliveries, Meals on Wheels says they're here as well as to feed those in need and make sure they are okay.
We provide one hot lunchtime meal on the weekdays and then also just a wellness check, make sure they're doing okay, and a friendly visit.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Volunteers at Meals on Wheels deliver food to over 200 people within Cache County.
It's one of those things that you're being able to serve your community and to serve the person that really needs your help. Without you, they're not having a meal. Without you, they may not have anyone to communicate with.
Volunteers fill these bags with food and take their own cars to deliver them to Cache Valley residents. Employees of the center say volunteers are the reason that this resource is still around.
Volunteering is where the heart of our mission here at the center is without our volunteers, we could not provide the service that we have. We love volunteers. We're just so grateful for all of the support from our community.
Employees at the senior center say,
I think it's so important that people see that our community is as small as we are, there is such a large need for people to volunteer.
Leah Krishoni, ATV News.
Curtain goes up this Friday at 7:30 p.m. You can buy your tickets online at the link on our Facebook page. Well, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Good service they're doing there. Thank you for joining us on this edition of ATV News.
You can find previous editions on our Facebook page.
We'll leave some more shots from track car racing.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Today, 1 out of every 4 American kids is Hispanic. That means many of the future doctors who will care for us, the engineers who will build our cities, the scientists and entrepreneurs of our country can be your kids. We all know how hard it is for you to send them to college. This is why we want you to know you are not alone. And every day, more people support you to make it happen. Many support you. And the Hispanic Scholarship Fund helps you prepare, plan, and pay for your kids' college education. Learn more at hsf.net.
Sorry, I've got big ideas.
As a college student, you have big ideas to make a big difference on campus. Why not get funding for those ideas in a big way? The Blue Goes Green Grant provides funding for student sustainability projects. These projects help USU students be more environmentally responsible, live healthier, and save money. To find out more, go to usu.edu/BGG. Get funding for your Blue Goes Green idea in a big way. Blue Goes Green. Make a difference.
It's a big responsibility.
Oh, it's huge. I know, it's huge.
And the salary.
Oh my god, yes. I mean,
Right?
like, I was about to move in with my parents, and right before, so this saved me.
I really believe in you, you know.
Thank you. It's nice to hear that from someone.
These are cool. Did you, what did
Today, 1 out of every 4 American kids is Hispanic. That means many of the future doctors who will care for us, the engineers who will build our cities, the scientists and entrepreneurs of our country can be your kids. We all know how hard it is for you to send them to college. This is why we want you to know you are not alone. And every day more people support you to make it happen. Many support you. And the Hispanic Scholarship Fund helps you prepare, plan, and pay for your kids' college education. hsf.net.
If you store your guns properly,
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
Please.
Do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always, lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.